Nigeria's population is growing fast, over 200 million people, and that number is still climbing. More people means more energy, more potential, but also more strain. In 2022, Nigeria decided it needs a plan, a new population policy to guide how the country grows. But what does that actually mean? And how does it work? Let's break it down. This isn't Nigeria's first population policy. The first one came out in 1988 and the second in 2004. And here we are again in 2022. So clearly, managing population growth isn't new. The question is, what's different this time? When President Muhammadu Buhari launched this updated policy, the idea wasn't to control people, it was to manage development. Because if the population keeps growing faster than the economy, it doesn't matter how many new schools or jobs you build, you'll always be playing catch up. Nigeria's growth rate in 2022 was around 2.5% per year, and the fertility rate sat at about 5.3 children per woman. That's huge, especially for a country where over 40% of the people are under 15. It's not just a lot of people, it's a lot of young people. The core idea is pretty simple. Nigeria wants to balance population growth with available resources, not stop it, not slow it for the sake of it, just to make sure growth makes sense. The document has five key goals. 1. Integrate population data into planning. 2. Improve access to education and healthcare. 3. Expand family planning services. 4. Promote gender equality. 5. Enhance coordination across government levels. It even established a new body, the National Council on Population Management, chaired by the president himself. The goal was to make sure population issues weren't left to just one ministry or department. In other words, the idea was if we're all a part of the population problem, we should all be a part of the population solution. Sounds great on paper, right? But let's look at the challenges. The first big challenge, rapid population growth. In 2022, Nigeria's growth rate was set around 2.5% per year. That's nearly 5 million people every single year. The population was expanding faster than schools, hospitals, or jobs could keep up. Fertility rates hovered at about 5.3 children per woman, and over 40% of Nigerians were under 15. So it's not just a lot of people, it's a young population, one that needs education, training, and opportunities to match its size. The second challenge, data and coordination. Reliable population data is the backbone of any policy, but Nigeria's systems were, and still are, fragmented. The last full national census was in 2006, that's 16 years before the 2022 policy, meaning much of the available data came from estimates, surveys, or projections. Different ministries collected data separately: health, education, employment, often without overlapping or conflicting figures, and without unified real time data. Effective planning becomes almost impossible. So, while the policy was ambitious, it began with an uphill battle, managing rapid growth with incomplete information. How do you manage one of the fastest growing populations in the world with data that's years out of date. The revised National Policy on Population for Sustainable Development, 2022. This tackled both issues head on, starting with coordination. The policy established a National Council on Population Management, chaired by the President, with the Vice President as Deputy Chair. Its job was to bring all ministries, health, education, environment, labor, under one umbrella, ensuring that every national plan was backed by population data. In short, no more fragmented decision making. Next, the population focused on data improvement. It called for the integration of population data systems, the digitization of civil registration, and stronger partnerships between the National Policy Commission and the National Bureau of Statistics. This laid the foundation for evidence-based planning, especially crucial after more than 15 years without a census. And when it came to managing rapid growth, the policy doubled down on education, family planning, and women's empowerment. It pushed for universal access to reproductive health services, increased funding for family planning commodities, and incorporated population education into school curricula. Because the truth is, population policy isn't about numbers, it's about people making informed choices. The policy even aligned with the global frameworks like SDGs and Agenda 2063, showing Nigeria's commitment to sustainable development that's data driven and people centered. But policies are only strong as their execution. And that's where the next part comes in. How effective were these responses? After all that planning and coordination, what has changed? The short answer: progress, but uneven. Since the 2022 policy launch, more states have started integrating population data into development plans. The National Population Commission and Bureau of Statistics have partnered to digitize civil registration. Small steps that make a big difference for planning. Family planning campaigns have reached more communities, and youth-centered programs are gaining traction. But implementation takes time and funding. Cultural barriers, unequal access between regions, and a lack of real-time data still slow things down. Still, the direction is right. For the first time, population management isn't treated as an afterthought. It's being built into Nigeria's development blueprint. The challenge now isn't just writing policies, it's staying committed to them. Because when you think about it, managing population isn't about controlling people. It's about creating systems where everyone has the opportunity to live well, to learn, to grow, and to contribute. That's what sustainability really means. And that's the vision the 2022 population policy set out to achieve. The question is, can we keep it going?